Hey everyone, it's me, Denise Stiegel, longevity concierge and menopause mentor. Yes, that is what I am. I mentor women who are going through the different phases of menopause, perimenopause, menopause, and yes, postmenopause too. Why? Because I've been through all of them. And I struggled so hard when I started experiencing symptoms and didn't have anybody to turn to or anybody to talk to because the doctors were basically poo-pooing me, telling me that I was too young and what I was thinking and feeling and experiencing wasn't real. Well, they were. All of it was. So I'm here to make sure you don't have to go through any of that nonsense. What I want to talk to you today, so it's kind of funny. I'm taking a menopause certification class. And thus far, I'm about a quarter of a way through it, and they haven't told me anything I don't already know. There are some things that I still really needed to understand a little bit more. And the one thing that I think is probably the thing that we all experience the most, or what we think when we think of menopause, is the hot flash. Yes, the dreaded hot flash, and they are real. So, what is it? It's basically, this sudden warmth, they say, hot in the face, in the neck, in the chest. What I experienced when I first started going through menopause, in perimenopause, was it felt like I was erupting from the inside out. So kind of like a volcano. And rather than lava spewing out, it was just this crazy amount of heat and sweat. But where do we see this? We notice it in the face and the neck and the chest. Obviously, there's the sweating piece, but also, and this I didn't understand initially, is a bit of a rapid heartbeat. And of course, your skin flushes, turns kind of pink, which is really embarrassing when you're at a meeting and all of a sudden, potentially you could, hide the fact that you're sitting there sweating profusely, but the fact that your face and your chest turns all red is kind of hard to hide, right? So the interesting thing is when it comes to the hot flash, a lot of the doctors don't really understand completely what causes them. Yes, of course, we do know it's estrogen, decline in estrogen, which disrupts our body's temperature regulation, basically. And our body becomes really sensitive to small temperature changes. That's what they say. That we become sensitive to small temperature changes. I don't know about you, but if you've experienced a hot flash, doesn't seem small at all. It seems like there's a big change, right? They do understand now that our hypothalamus in our brain, which controls body temperature, becomes really oversensitive when our estrogen levels drop. And depending on where you are, sometimes, like everything, our hormones kind of go up and down. As you're going through menopause, they're still dropping, but occasionally you still kind of get a little bit of a bounce there, right? So what happens is your body then misinterprets this normal body temperature that you have as that you're overheating, like if you were out in the desert and it was 125 degrees. So the hypothalamus is a contributing factor to our hot flash. So what's actually going on, other than the fact that we're sweating and we've turned red and we feel horrible? Our blood vessels are dilating, which increases blood flow. And that's what causes the flushing. So that pinkness that you get, on your chest and your face. And then, of course, what happens is your sweat glands go crazy to cool your body. And what happens, that's when the perspiration starts, is your sweat glands are actually doing what they're supposed to do. They're just kind of working on overtime. And that's where you get that, the sweat that comes with the hot flash. I think if the hot flash just kind of like came and went and that was it would be tolerable. But the fact that the perspiration, the sweat that comes along with it, to me, was what made it unbearable, especially at night. What are some of the other things that can influence hot flashes? And some of these don't seem really like a big deal, but when you think about it, when you really sit down and think about it, obviously, these are contributing factors to hot flashes. Number one, stress. Stress is a problem for everything, right? So if we have higher stress, that's going to trigger more hot flashes. Anxiety, which very often those two go together, right? And stress and anxiety are often a symptom of menopause. They're not necessarily a symptom of something else like depression, or, even anxiety in itself can be part of the menopause uh, symptoms that you're going through. Um, some of the other things, caffeine. Yes, I know we love our caffeine, especially in the morning. Thing for me, most of the time, my hot flashes did not get them very often, but they don't come in the morning. So if I have a cup of coffee, cup of tea, pot of tea, depending, during in the morning, I don't seem to struggle so much. But some of the other things, spicy food. Yeah, hot spicy food. Those, you have those hot peppers that make your mouth like sweat. Yeah, they're making the rest of you sweat too. Alcohol. Now, I love my wine. I'm not going to take wine out of my diet completely. But a glass of wine here and there is not going to um, break the bank when it comes to the hot flash. But if it's something that you notice when you don't have alcohol, um, then maybe that's something to consider, right? Is to really pay attention to that. And of course, hot environments. I know a couple of years ago, the hot yoga was really popular. And I laughed in the face of everybody who said, "Oh, you should try hot yoga." And I'm thinking, I'm hot enough as it is. I'm hot enough as it is. Oh, I did not mean that. I meant heat hot. But anyway, at least I can make myself laugh. Sometimes, through life and through menopause, we do have to laugh at ourselves. But some of the other things, obviously, there are certain medications and medical conditions that can also increase your hot flashes. So if that is the case, if you're on certain medications, have certain medical conditions, obviously you're working closely with a doctor, or a doctor or physician, any type of professional in that area. Um, I think for me, the greatest challenge I had with hot flashes were not so much the hot flashes, but the night sweats. Usually they say an episode can last, 30 seconds, 7 minutes to up to an hour. And I thought, okay, yeah, that definitely sucks, except my night sweats, which are basically hot flashes that happen at nighttime. They were lasting for hours, not 1 hour, but hours. And so this is where, when it comes to sleep, hot flashes and night sweats are affecting our sleep, which can then affect stress, which can affect anxiety, which can affect our desire and need for caffeine. So you see how all of these things are connected. So if you are experiencing hot flashes and you need some support, let's just talk about it. Shoot me an email at support@denisestegall.com. Join me on my monthly menopause series. It's called Hormones to Harmony. It's the first week of every month, and the next one is tomorrow, March the 5th. At 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll make sure there is a link here with the video. All right. Thanks, everyone. Denise Stegall with Healthy Living with Denise. That's me, the menopause mentor. And I will be here to answer your menopause questions whenever you need some support. See you soon.